Hey everyone, welcome back to First-Hand Globetrotting. When you think of famous prisons, what comes to mind? For me, it's definitely Alcatraz, the Rock. It's been in movies and TV shows, it's out on an island over a mile from the mainland, and it's housed some of the most dangerous and famous criminals like Al Capone, the Birdman of Alcatraz, and Machine Gun Kelly. Sounds pretty interesting, right? So when I went to San Francisco, I knew I needed to see it. But it's not the easiest place to get to. It's on an island, remember? Just like the Statue of Liberty in New York, there's only one way to get tickets to Alcatraz. So this video will tell you everything you need to know about getting tickets and what you're going to see on your trip. As I said, there's only one company that can take you to Alcatraz. They're called Alcatraz Cruises, so make sure you only buy tickets from them. I'll put a link down below in the video description. If any other person or company says they can sell you tickets to Alcatraz, you should be very careful. There's a good chance they're trying to scam you. The National Park Service runs Alcatraz, and they've made it so only one company is allowed to go to the island. No matter how convincing the salespeople are from other companies, don't fall for it. Only buy your tickets from Alcatraz Tours. And make sure to buy your tickets early. I got mine a few weeks before my tour, and already a lot of the time slots were sold out. It's really popular, so book as early as you can. Once you have your tickets booked, on the day of your tour, you get on the boat at Pier 33 in San Francisco. You can't miss it with the big Alcatraz signs everywhere and the huge crowds waiting for their boats. When you get to Pier 33, there are different lines depending on what time your boat leaves. It's pretty well marked, and there are lots of staff there to answer your questions. But honestly, it doesn't really matter if you're at the front of the line or the back unless you really want a specific spot on the boat. As long as you have your ticket, there'll be room for you on the boat. The boat ride is pretty short, less than 30 minutes, but you'll get some great views of Alcatraz in front of you and the San Francisco skyline behind you. The weather was great, so I stood on the upper deck of the boat to get the best views. But while a nice boat ride is a bonus, Alcatraz Island is what you came for. The nice thing is that you can come back on any of the scheduled return trips. You don't have a fixed return time, so you can stay as long as you want there. As soon as you step off the boat, you can see how impressive Alcatraz is. Most of the people rushed off the boat and went to the main prison cell block right away. Instead, I walked around the island a little bit to let the cell block crowds die down. The island isn't huge, but you can walk along the paths and see where the old buildings are, the water tower, and everything else. It's kind of like a tiny town surrounding the prison. I definitely recommend spending some time walking around so you can get a sense of what it would have been like for the people living there on the island. Plus, you get a really great view of San Francisco. See how all the roads in San Francisco lead down to the water? Really neat. They have some displays set up in some of the buildings to teach you about the history of the island and the wildlife, but one of the most interesting displays had pictures from the last day the prison was open. But enough about the outside, let's talk about the prison. That's what you came for, right? Once you go inside, you wait in a lineup to get an audio guide for the prison. It didn't take too long, and they had them in a bunch of different languages. It's a self-guided tour, so you can go at your own pace, which is definitely nice. And it was actually a pretty good audio tour, way better than a lot of the ones I've taken before. But be warned, with all the visitors, it can get a little crowded in some spots. When you're inside, you get to go through the rows and rows of cells and see what it would have been like to be a prisoner on the Rock. You're going to see lots of prison cells on this tour. Some are just regular empty ones, some are decorated to look like they would have back when there were prisoners living in them, and some are open so you can walk inside and pretend you're a prisoner there. The open cells were definitely popular photo stops. Other than the cells, you can walk around the dining area, see some of the areas where the guards were stationed, the visitation area, and a few of the administrative rooms. Some of these may not sound too exciting, but as I said, having the audio guide telling you facts and stories throughout your tour really made it come alive and added a lot to the experience. Personally, I really liked walking around the cell blocks. Just the thought of being locked up in those tiny old cells on an island a mile away from the mainland really makes you understand why they only put the worst of the worst criminals there. But at least for us, at the end of the day, we got to take a nice boat ride back to San Francisco and enjoy the views from the water. All in all, I think the entire experience took about 4 hours, from when my boat left San Francisco in the morning to when I got back to Pier 33 at the end of the day. Definitely a great way to spend an afternoon, and it's pretty obvious why it's so popular with tourists. A really neat place. But like I said at the start, make sure you only buy your tickets from Alcatraz Cruises. Book them early and make sure you don't get scammed. That's all for this video. Hopefully it lets you know what a tour of Alcatraz is all about and what you need to do to get yourself some tickets. Make sure to like the video, leave a comment or question, share it with your friends, and of course, click the subscribe button down below. It's all free and easy, so I really hope you do. On Twitter, I'm Firsthand Globe. On Instagram, I'm Firsthand Globetrotting, so make sure to follow me on there. And remember, it's an unforgettable world out there, so pick up your passport and do some firsthand globetrotting of your own.